They're closing Starbucks.
New intro. Whenever we decide to make it.
Just kidding. They're not closing down Starbucks. All right, we're back. Episode 3, season 5. This week is just me, not just, but it's me, Corpse, Rev, and we just gonna be talking and yapping.
Yeah.
Let's introduce each other. Who are you?
Corpse, aka Monster Beast, aka the commercial man for TheBeastcamp.com. TheBeastcamp.com. Yeah, the one and only Oxnard 805, baby.
Oxnard 805.
Rev, aka Burden, aka Ghost Beast. I am BEASTcamp.com, like JR. BEASTcamp.com. Yeah, San Miguel 805 was good.
I think, were you our second interview when we were doing like the old interviews, or third? It's been a while.
It's been a while.
And it was at your crib.
That was like before we did even podcasts.
Anything.
Yeah, that was before podcasts were really a thing with anybody, really. Yeah.
Knucklehead first.
Biggie,
Miho, you shut down, and then it shut down. I think.
Shut down. We did a few during shutdown,
Yeah.
but that was
that was
a different time.
That was in the garage. Yeah, we did that. We did that interview right there in the garage.
Did we pack you out? Was that?
Yeah, we did a birthday pack out that same time. Yeah. 25 rounds, I think it was.
Bro.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So how does it feel? Well, I have a couple questions with this, but how does it feel to go to see KRUMP from then to now? Especially like, so this is a 2-part question, but the 2-part be later. Is back then you were considered like a rookie, you know, and then now you're considered like one of the heavy hitters or one of like the slept on heavy hitters. So what did that? Yeah, what was that dream?
Like, yeah, okay. I think it was a cool time when I came in, now that I look back, because the classroom effect, I think, was kind of starting to hit KRUMP, where you started to see more and more weekly workshops, or like, because I feel as if before the workshop element was really restricted to the event, you know? And so that now outside of that, you had more access to this knowledge, right? And some of it was distasteful just to people in the community, whatever. But we got past that, right? People adopted it. We got past that, and now it's almost standard in the community now that if you're an established community, that the leaders are doing some kind of workshops or some kind of intensives like once a month. Like shout out Al and all them. You know, out in Texas, they're always doing stuff pretty consistently. Shout out to the dudes like, you know, New York, Florida, they're always doing stuff, whatever. And so now it's tight to see that like be a consistent thing. And then people who I guess were rookies back then too, they've all kind of filled out different roles. They're all kind of like in their own lanes now. And it's really tight to see that growth.
Facts.
Yeah. I think it's cool to see that back when you were even starting to be a rookie and transitioning out of that rookie area, because you're an Oxnard, you were like the scene over there. And so it was really cool, you know, it's still cool to see like you even taking that classroom, that workshop mentality, and bringing it to a city that doesn't really have that KRUMP community. You know, me being in the north side of the 805, when I first started dancing, KRUMP was not an option. KRUMP was not an option, and I even remember being in like downtown Slow at a bar, and some dude was like, "Oh, you want a lab?" And it was such a not an option that I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, "What?" He was like, "Oh, that's not."
You're in chemistry class?
I was like, "Oh, I don't know what that means." He was like, "That's just what they call practice."
That's crazy. Yeah, you brought up a good point that makes me happy. 'Cause I'm here to talk my shit. Nah. yeah, I can say that I was one of the people of influence to make that a norm, and I had to fact check myself before I flex. Yeah, I asked Miho, I asked a bunch of OGs and vets that is my peers and stuff. Yeah, and I just asked if this whole norm of like doing labs, especially weekly, and what we offered with the old and the very first Cypher spot, I think was super unheard of. That it just caused such a shake in this scene, Shake City. No, but for real, like, yeah. And I remember even for me, like the reason why I wanted to do that was I felt like the LA scene was kind of like dying off, and it felt like not a lot of newcomers were coming, or like there wasn't a space for them to like learn KRUMP besides some ML classes, or like offered at the studios, but they would only be like an hour 15, and then it'll be like $22, and then yeah, like they're strict on the time because there's another class after. So it's really just like an hour 15 that didn't feel like we could do much to spread KRUMP. It was a good introduction, and shout out to ML and all the studios, but we just needed something more. So yeah, when Rev presented the Cypher spot, and I was like, bro, like, you know, it's gonna be some community work and some crazy years and crazy times, but it was basically like free classes every Tuesday. And
Bro, did we butt heads at the start?
Yeah. And I was like,
You can't have that.
I know.
And
It's-
progression.
Yeah, it's for the vision, man. It's you know, for the community, and good thing we like stuck through it, because every time I see a flyer that says lab plus session, I mean, I can like proudly say that I was a part of like pushing that, because I would ask like, and even in my experience, usually when you go to a session, like we would lab, but we would just like kind of lab in our own corner, or if it's your fam or your friends, then you could show some lab, but there wasn't like a facilitator sharing something in the lab, and even like providing that space for different types of teachers, you know.
And it showed that we were doing something, whether it's first or not first, but like innovative. It showed that was an innovative moment within our culture,
Yeah.
because of the amount of people that it grew to.
Yeah.
Like if you look back, Matt, you gotta stop, bro. 1 second. But yeah, it was like such an innovative thing, because the amount of people that were actually showing up kept on growing. Like when we first started in 2016, I think was like October 2016 or something like that, and it wasn't a packed out room,
Yeah.
you know. But man, there were some Tuesdays that we had 100+ people in there.
Yeah.
It was an event. Like it was literally like it was battle card. We should be like, not to give anybody any ideas, but like we should probably be promoting this and selling tickets at the door, because this is worthy
Yeah,
of this.
for sure.
Spartan versus Yayo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
there
was
were so many.
Right? Like
And then when the overseas people would come out, and it was just like naturally. I remember, I can't remember who it was, but you brought somebody over to the studio, and they're like, they just had like a layover type situation, and he was like, "Oh wait, I just gotta get to the studio." And he like stepped into the little corner that we had. He threw like one arm swing. He was like, "All right, I'm good." And I was like, "What?" Because it was, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, and I knew it was something innovative because we had mixed reviews. Like we had, you know, some OGs or like even creators like sit like right in front row, and as I was teaching, I was like, damn, this is crazy, you know. And some people would come through and test out what we were doing and really see what we're about, and had their own narratives that we were doing this for whatever other reason besides just we just wanted to see the community flourish. So yeah, I remember, you know, Miss Prissy was in front. I remember when Eyes was seeing like what was actually going on, and Big Miho. Yeah, when Lil C walked in. I think we had every creator. I think Dragon went to, or Slayer went too. So yeah, what a time. And I'm proud to say that, because yeah, I'm pretty sure when I stopped dancing, then all these great stories would come out about what I did, but as of right now, it's not. But it's cool to hear from your perspective.
Yeah.
And even something that you did that I want to give you flowers was that Corpse in this area, from my memory, is he was one of the first people to like really shout out like the rookies. And at the time that he was, I mean, we as a community, again, from my memory, from my experience, was not really like looking like too good to the rookies. Like every time there was a rookie, it's like, man, what do y'all new booties like know? Or like, what do y'all newbies know? You know? And we were giving y'all like a hard time.
I don't know jack shit.
Right.
Rookies.
Yeah, so what was your experience like that, if you remember? But from my memory, there was even albums that came out that
No
was
rookies allowed.
right, no rookies allowed, no this. And I was
all
like,
because this fool was so loud about being a rookie.
and see, that just shows y'all that I ain't no yes man, because, you know, even though a lot of it came from my camp or, you know, like my old fam, whatever, I was like, no, I think we need new people and we need the rookies. And I get it, you know, like when we see something that is provided that we didn't have growing up, but I always give the analogy, like, so you want your kids to have the same type of upbringing as you, or you want, you know, a better one. Like, I get not to spoon feed or whatever, but we always want better. And it's just crazy, like what he said, a lot of things that's normal now was not normal when we were fighting through it. Especially when back then you had to be, you know, kind of like that guy. Now it's just like anybody could do it. I'm just saying, the requirements before to host this, be in front of this, whatever, it was very much harder when I was trying to push for these things, because it was like, were you tight, and were you like even that guy to begin with for us to even like give you a shot to host a session or host an event and do it at the caliber that like you're doing, especially for free. Like, who do you think you are, you know? And I had to really back it up with my KRUMP. And yeah, that was something that, you know, you're welcome.
I do want to say, you know, yes, spearheading it, like you were the one who like definitely pushed it, especially when he was so loud about it. But that's, you know, we also got to give them flowers to like FUD. I think, you know, looking at that first top, the top 8 rookies, when that was like put into like, that was dope. He was like, you know, let's just do it at the barbershop. We all jammed through there. So, you know, not to say that when somebody's innovative, it's not saying that other people aren't as well. It's, yeah, I feel like that was a really dope part of the movement, because there were people that were like, this is so whack, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Rookies don't have a place. Rookies don't have this. I remember getting hate on it because, you know, blah, blah, blah. But there were really amazingly dope people in our community that were like trusting Sherwin in that moment of like, okay, let's try it out. Let's do this. So shout out to Fuzz, shout out to DC, shout out to
That was Dread too.
Dread. Yeah, Dread was all about it too. Yeah, it's really dope. And now there's a lot of community who are still pushing for it too.
Yeah.
You know, you have the IE, you have Childish is a big push for that.
Yeah. And shout out to Childish, because anytime he has these like rookie ideas, yeah, he would come and text me about it. And I think he wanted to do a top 8, but more based on IE, which is amazing. Yeah, even with the movement in Toronto, the Screwface, and how poppin' they are. Yeah, I remember Rex texting me and said, "Oh, what did you do?" And I sent him a voice message about how was that structured with the top 8 rookies, and then yeah, they took it, you know, and twisted it and did whatever they had to do for their community, and it now is dope, you know. Like, we had a top 8 in Utah, Arizona, and even Australia. I think we had one in Perth, yeah, which was dope. And I think the only places I was like really like pushing at that time was like Europe and like some of the like the Asia, like Japan scene in like a big scale, you know. So Yeah, you were a part of all that, buddy.
I just remember, dude, like there was, and there will always be a argument, I feel, between who's a vet, who's a heavy hitter. I think we kind of got a real classification of what OGs are nowadays, right? And you could be an OG of a city, right, or an OG of some region, but then OG of KRUMP, well, we know that those were certain people, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. I still remember though, like, and just seeing some of the comments of like, well, what about us who's like 1 or 2 years in, and like we're pretty good, like, you know, we're all right, you know. And it was always those dudes, and I'm gonna say it out loud, but it was always the dudes who's been crumping like 10, 15 years, but ain't really been doing shit really, who had the most to fucking say. And we ended up battling them, smoking their asses, and it's like, oh, okay, well, what does this make me now? Right? Because I, like, y'all know me, I love my shit, bro, and I'm a keep what I kill. So if I just smoked you, bro, what does that make me if you're 15 years in, right? Does that make me your veteran now?
Yeah.
Like, because this is the type of game you want to play, dog.
Yeah.
Rookies, motherfucker, just like, you know, like, it's not like we had to make it like, you know, it kind of made us feel like we had to make our own place. And I know, big shout out to Grizzy. I know he was one of the people too I would see in the comments talking his shit, you know what I mean? And it was like around that time we just, I don't know, I was just like, you just hear heavyweights and heavy hitters, and I'm like, rookies, rookies. Like, oh yeah, dog, it's cool. I'm right here. I'll claim mine while y'all bicker. You know,
still claiming rookies.
I still do, honestly. Like I never really want to leave that feeling of like I still got something to prove, at least to myself, right, and have something to learn. I don't want to feel complacent of like, oh, I'm a heavy hitter now, or I'm a veteran. Like, you know, still have something to chase, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good time. Good turn.
Those were wild times, bro.
I believe you were one of the first, like, I don't want to say like official rookie champions, but you did win like the next gen tournament.
Yeah.
And was it only judged by eyes?
Yeah.
What did I judge it to? I think it was only him.
I think it was only
Yeah. And then you won a battle for the Buckster.
at the Bucks. Yep.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, that was.
You still have the picture frame trophy?
Yeah. little 4x4. That shit was crazy. Hey, man.
That's my trophy.
Hey. Yeah, no, I remember there was like a whole build up to it too. Like, I remember you went around, you battled some of us, and then I had no idea who was even going to be in this freaking thing. And then we showed up, yeah, tie-dyes, and I remember, like, one of my favorite moments that I remember from it is it was going to be me versus Ryan versus Tool Native.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I had just got done dancing, and they were going to spin the hat, and I was like, dude, no, what the fuck? Like, I just danced, like, make him go. And then he ended up going, and I was like, oh, thank the Lord, like God was really watching me that day. But that was I feel like really life-changing experience. I hit Ryan up from time to time and be like,
Man, too.
yeah, Jiggy,
And 23.
yeah, man, the shout out to Jig Man. His whole career went in one way, right? Young Crow was in the finals of that too. His career went in one way. Mine.
To in jeopardy.
So it makes me happy. It really does make me happy that, and I know whatever Twin Native had been around for a while up until that point, and I mean, he's always been a fair sport about stuff. I feel like I've never seen him really being mad negative on anybody's shit really, but it was just happy to see that he had been around for a while, got this opportunity, did really well, and then I mean he fucking didn't he kill off at the KBL right after that? There was a KBL right after that. He killed off Young Crow. I mean, he got beat, but he did really good. He did really good. I was still happy for him, like, you know. But his,
I mean, he became Soldier Concrete later down the line. I remember.
yeah, I think it was like a month later, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like a month later. Yeah. I was like, what? I was like, well, you know, like, it really made me think, like, doing the KRUMP stuff can actually be life changing. Like, this shit is actually life changing if you take the opportunity, right? You know.
Yep. Yeah. And you said that last key phrase is what the whole point of like those rookie things at top 8 is just like when you pay it right, like you gotta pay your dues. Like greatness has a price, leadership has a price, And at the time, like it was like the rookies would beat a lot of people that would be crumping for a long time, and then there's like a confusion, like, oh, what, like a 10-year person got beat by a 1 or 2 year. But then there'll be the opposite when it'll be like a vet like Crush battling one of y'all, and then it's like the opposite where the rookies would be like, oh yeah, like I've battled Beast, Crush, Concrete, and yeah, and I felt like the ego or whatever, which is fine, got inflated. But then I was like, dang, like if only there was a place where the rookies can really like pay their dues and just show like what they're made of. And with sports, numbers mean everything. So just having a rank, I mean, I remember it was like, even if it was like a number 6 versus number 7, and I remember Solo like at the Cypher spot, I was like, yo, this is the greatest idea, because this is so entertaining to see if someone's number is gonna get lost or someone's gonna move up. And this was bringing in like numbers. They wanted to see their friends or even someone like potentially lose their number or someone like go up, And yeah, like my idea to get FUD and Dread in was because I wanted to bring the community leaders at that time. I don't even think the Get Off was like established just yet. And like stuff that Childish was doing, it was just like the DCs and then the A18s and then the Beast Camps at that time. And yeah, so they were the community leaders, and I just asked them if they wanted to be down with it, and just so it won't be a biased like judging, because there was some people from DC, some people from Beast Camp, and some people from the 818, and then it was just fun like to do. I mean, y'all could take this, but yeah, 2 judges at least have to be present. If not, then it'll be recorded, and then we'll just watch it in the group chat. And the group chat was hella fun too. And we were just all together talking crap. Yeah, I know. But
Not even gonna go there.
right. But
That was a trilogy.
yeah. But it was fun, man. Like,
Hey, shout out to Kill Bill, bro. You know, bro. I love that dude.
and it's crazy to see like just where I think we're all the 8, like, a bunch of them just kept going, like
Yeah, like for instance, like think about where Kill Bill is at now. Like
hosting Wasteland.
hosting one of the dopest events, and it's just a testament to see the people, the 8 that you guys thought were gonna be something, they became something. That's gonna get picked up on the microphone big time. But yeah, and I think for me, looking at Kill Bill is probably my favorite, like where he's gotten from being in the rookie era to being just a huge community leader. I think he's one of the ones that have probably gotten the biggest and farthest. So shout out to him.
Street Beast X just won HHR, right? In the
Yeah.
end. So you have Kill Bill, who's a vet. I think, shout out Kill Bill because he had me battle Bless there. I was at the first one, and it is now a global event, right? Like, it's so dope, right? Who else was in that thing? Rev was in it, right? Rev, I mean, the man behind the man in the chair when it comes to the Beast Camp, you know what I'm saying? Bullet, right? Bullet is a talent I don't think that a lot of people talk about enough with
I
him.
think he was like, was he the first hardcore, legendary hardcore champion?
He did something like that.
Him and Kyle battled.
Now he's jousting.
Yeah, I medieval timing.
He's the first person I see when I open up YouTube.
I saw him on my airplane screen. I was like, what is Bullet doing?
Bullet?
Like, bro.
Shout out to the bro. Come
Medieval
on.
Times has got my mans like that. That's cool.
Brittany or Cassie?
Cassie, Cassie's killing it on the all style scene. She's
Yeah, man.
constantly on the Red Bull circuit.
And so I
Yeah.
Who do you think, being that name, like that like announcer, hype man for the rookies in our era, who do you think, or if there isn't somebody, how could you encourage somebody to become that in that place of you? Does that kind of make sense? Like, who out of the rookies or these newcomers are you seeing that dude's the new hype man for the rookies? Is there anybody?
There's not a lot of people right now I feel really loud with it anymore. I really like that Childish is kind of, and I love giving him his flowers, but he's kind of keeping the ball rolling too with doing his own stuff down there in the IE. A rookie I really, really like right now, and I don't know how long he's been around, honestly, but is Checkmark down from the IE. I feel like he's
Gout.
I feel like he's been around for a little bit, right? But he is, to me, is tight. His talent's there. He seems like a pretty good sport. Somebody's just got to decide to kind of own that place. Honestly, like if they want to be in that position of like, oh, that's the new, 2026 fucking brand new hype man for the rookies, just be loud about it, bro. Like, own that shit. Like, I feel like that's something that we all did as rookies back then. We all owned it. It's like, hey, I don't really know that much, but I know how to dance. So
Owning the process is like big. Like owning the contentment of being okay that you don't know everything and you're there to learn. I think you really were such a good voice for that era.
And I think that was
era, whatever you want to call it.
I think that was a lot of people's like secret issue with workshops is walking in there, you are acknowledging the fact that you don't know.
No.
Or that you may not know as much as this person. In matter of fact, I'm exchanging my money for the opportunity to obtain this information from this person. And so I think subconsciously for a lot of people, that's why they're like, workshop, what the fuck? I could lab at home. It's like, yeah, you could, but are you going to get this lab right here, bro? Because this is going to be different because you're all submitting to that same idea that we're here to learn. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of when you got the rookies in the room and we all found our little corner, we were all on that wave. Like, hey, bro.
Didn't you say that Miho took a lab from you or a workshop from you?
Yeah, countless times. I remember like every Tuesday it was FUD. I was like, FUD, get out of the class. And I remember he would always get the cup where we would like donate. He's like, y'all need to donate. And I was just like, dang, FUD. Like, I remember even rest in peace, but yeah, Enforcer. He took my class, and Enforcer being Enforcer, he was like, bro, it's like, you were teaching this, but then you moved on to this. And maybe some people don't think that fast. I was like, it's facts, but dang, it's too much pressure. But yeah.
I think that's one of my best memories. And actually, just a couple sessions ago, when we were labbing over here and sessioning over here, Enforcer gave me just this like crazy lab on the side. Like the session was going on the side, and this fool was just labbing me up about just chest and bounce, get off, and like don't even use your arms. And, it's crazy that he's coming up in this conversation because literally, I think last session we did or 2 sessions ago, I was like doing a round based off of that still because it was that impactful.
Here's some P's like ER. Yeah, I like this workshop talk because I feel like I was the center. I was first one of the people in the center of that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like workshops was always a struggle within our community. There's a lot of great knowledge that I feel like is worth more than like any type of currency, which I get, and I think if you just find that balance to teach but also encourage to try these things at a session and at a battle, because this is the thing that people don't understand. Like let's say I would talk about like a technique like flames, and I remember when that became a thing, and I don't want to say it's my fault, but I remember we were sessioning at the overhype, and I remember my round was so trash that I was just jabbing, like straight up, was just jabbing. And I feel like the fam and the old big homie was like watching footage, and I think they watched my round. It was like, we need to do something about this. And I was in the car with Knucklehead. He said, man, I got this new technique to teach you, man. Like, you know, it's called flings. And the way he was describing it was the way my round was going. Like, yeah, you know, because instead of jabbing all the dang time, this is, and I was like, yep, that was my round last night. So that was like Knucklehead's like, I think Knucklehead's like, you know, nice way to say like stop jabbing all the time. So with all that experience, mistakes, and even learning from the big bro, Knucklehead, and then I could just say, this is flings, you know. So from all that experience and all that, like, yeah, like, versus just saying like, you know, saying it at a workshop and I could say it in just like 2 seconds, like this is what a fling is, versus like the process and the mistakes that it made to be at that moment, you know. Like a lot of these knowledge that we teach now is from those types of things. Like I remember learning a lot of stuff from eyes when I was overseas, and I was really thankful to be booked myself, but to be in like a 10-day KRUMP camp, like a KRUMPire, and to learn everything from there, not just from him but from the other students, teachers, and then come back and then just say it in like a few seconds, you know. Like people kind of lower the value just because it's said so easily, like, oh yeah, these are flings, and oh, this is what a make and break is. But it's because of hours and hours of lab, trying it out, making mistakes, or like, what is that? Like I remember watching footage, and even till this day, like we would watch footage and I'd be like, what's missing there? Either we would go back to old techniques, or we would make up something that's a concept, and then if everyone's working on it and it agrees and it works out, then it becomes a new KRUMP terminology, you know. So that whole process, and that's why I could understand why it was tough and still tough to share these things, because it's that personal to us. And I hope you guys watching know that, like, when it's teachers especially that can talk about it real deep, and in a sense of like, especially if their experiences behind it is not just as easy as like, you know, every time you do this technique, this works like 9 out of 10 times, is because it's from experience and being embarrassed at a battle or really trying in a battle, like it works, you know. So, and then it's just hard. Like it's hard when we see, you know, when you kind of filter out like teachers that just like kind of play the telephone game. And that's why whatever you guys learn, really try it out in the lab, in the session, battles, and then see it in the lab again, and then teach it. If it works for you, see if it works for your fan members and whatnot. And if it works for them, then it's like, all right, cool. But yeah, I think it's a heavy topic that, you know, you guys have been around, and for us to produce whatever we produce. But I understand the conversations within it, the goods and bad. But yeah, the goods is, you know, products that, yeah. And that's another topic. Be a good student. As much as you guys want great teachers, we want great students too. Mm-hmm. And my first rule of a good student or great student is just keep up.
Mm-hmm. Keep up with, dude. Or it's like it, like those labs, bro. Like especially when we, like, there was some of those labs that you did. I remember that were like invite only.
I don't know.
And those were so intense. And I just remember thinking, like, I'm either going to throw up or I'm going to leave. Because they know I'm about to leave. They know I'm going to see me do this right now. And I don't want to leave.
Or I want to do both.
Maybe both, right? Like, and so, yeah, keep, bro. And I think a big thing that, because I like how you were saying about losing the value because it's almost playing a game of telephone with the information. And I feel that a big mistake that some of the rookies were making from my era, and that I was kind of noticing, was that people were taking classes and then immediately turning around and teaching them somewhere else. And I don't hate on nobody trying to get their bread, go chase your bag, you know what I'm saying? But there has to be some
Hell
decency.
no. If I went through that shit, everybody got going through that shit.
You feel me?
I'm sorry, but yeah, it's for me. The rule for like teaching is you can teach like, let's say, jabs. You know, everyone could teach jabs, but what's your experience behind it to where like you could spark the next level? You know, like I've learned jabs from multiple people, and however it made sense to me. But then from my experience, you know, like not just because like, oh, my teacher said X, Y, and Z. Like I was taught not to jab, so we would be in competition when we were in SK. Like, yeah, we only jabbed twice this round. But now I'm like, dang, jab is such a rhythm type of thing, and it's such yeah, it helps me cut my get off and my musicality and whatnot. But it's also a way to do things that you can learn from BEASTcamp.com. But yeah, that's a good point. Even with me, like my learning process, even now, but I'll say it as a student. Like when I was a student and had a big homie, and my big homie at the time, he would teach us KRUMP for like 6 hours straight, and we're just sitting there like and learning KRUMP all over again. And I would not bother him for like 6 months for new knowledge. I would like just send over footage. Hey, I'm working on this 30 minutes that you just said. And then for the 6 months, I would like process all that, you know. And the only way I would like teach is maybe with my little homies, so that like I can like help filter it out. Because like scientifically, when you teach, it helps you remember certain things better. But yeah, like I would tell myself like there's no way I could teach this publicly if like I can't say like, well, I used this at this session, especially at this battle, because I think that's the ultimate test of your lab, you know. So yeah, if you guys, yeah, no, I think if you guys have learned, get some experience behind it, just so like you can keep the ball rolling, as in like there's the technique and the terminology, but then there's like your version of it, and then it could spark whoever like is in your class, because not everyone's gonna take my class. Maybe they want Corpse's class because of his style. So if he's just gonna say something that's straight up from me, the people that are attracted to his style are gonna be like, oh, like, but we don't just do, I don't want to be straight out. I want to kind of do like however your style is. So can you do that? And you're like, oh, but the jab, you know, when we have experience on, oh yeah, how I do it is I would time it different or texture this, whatever. Yeah, you brought up a good point. That needs to be talked about. Don't be in such a rush to teach these new terms, and especially if you, from my standard and just what was bestowed upon me, was if it wasn't tested, you know. And like I said, sometimes we had to be embarrassed by trying out this technique in a do or die battle. Like, I remember when I was first taught the comb bangs, which is you just bang parts of your combo. I did that versus Proof, and that was my first round. I told myself, I'm just gonna try this freestyle. I could win or lose, and his first round was so fire, I almost like changed my game plan because I had that like spin ankle kill off. I was like, nah, I'm gonna like try this out, you know, because to be a student of my big homie at the time, but also to showcase like, you know, like this new technique. And again, it's just levels, because yeah, there's teachers, and then there's just other people that kind of lead the way, you know. So, yeah, it's a very, I don't want to say sensitive topic for me, but it's because like it's just more than just like I'm in front of the camera and I get to teach and whatnot. Like it's a really grueling process that, yeah, I think they separate it from like the battle life and all that to the teaching. But for us, where we grew up from, yeah, I'll always hold that, because it is such a sacred like art for it to just kind of be flown around and thrown around. So yeah,
before I even like really wanted to show KRUMP to other people in Oxnard, by the time I got to that point, me and Twin, right, me and Sylvester really had came up with what the corp style was, how he was going to move, what we like doing. It was something that we kind of tested, you know, hours in the garage. And so even now, all these years later, you know, I learned something from you, and I take that home and marinate for at least 3 to 4 days before I'm even like, yo guys, let me show you something real quick. Like, I've already taken it and took the time to let it process through my style. I've lapped it, you know, and this is before I even show it to somebody, right? Like, hey, let me show you what I'm doing. But then go teach a workshop. I don't know, I just feel like I get the excitement, you know, especially for people these days. The TikTok reels and the Instagram reels and the YouTubes and the fucking, you know, all the workflow and everything. I get it, you know, but yeah, there's some more due diligence I feel like that's still needed sometimes. But I do like seeing some of the people that I've seen now teaching workshops, like no one, right? Kind of new, but is a phenomenal fucking talent, like undeniable talent. And I like seeing people like him come along and teach.
Yeah, he was in like 3 boot camps. He was like with Moody Rex, because he was twin. So Rex and Moody was just, you know, giving him all the gems. And then there was a good time when he was learning from 1K as well. And then Davi would be one of those too, like BEASTcamp.com. He was always there from afar, you know. And whenever we would see each other, especially when he was coming up, he was always asking questions and applying them, and, you know, really like accelerating. So that's where I could say it could be like the silver or like the gray area, you know. Just depends on how quick you apply it. But yeah, like he was just going, and he had so many main event battles at the time of his come up, and we would see, like, I remember at that time the main thing we was teaching was posture, and he was like the king of posture, you know. Like, for him to stay at that one and still like bang out, and when he battled Conwork and he went all the way to the floor, and that's a posture right there, you know. So yeah, the way he mastered it quick, and then it's just cool. And also I've been to his recent workshops, and it's the same thing, you know. Like, it kind of has that same formula. Like, this is the term, but this is just how I do it and how I see it. And there's organizers that hit me up about it and was like, yo, like, the way he's teaching is like refreshing, because I never heard of it, the same term, but like in the way he is. And that's like I said, like the sweet spot, you know. Because like I said, like, for people like us that's been dancing for a while, we may not have the experience that like someone like Nolan has. So like, yo, like he sees it in this way, or calls it this and calls it that. Like, okay, like, so that's what posture means to him, you know. Like Rex would say something, here's a freebie, he would say feed the posture. So that's his concept. So if you find a posture and you just feed it a chest pop, feed it an arm swing, just so you could stay in that posture. And it's a different mindset, you know. I would teach it way different, or explain it different, but the same way, like, to stay in a posture, you know. So yeah,
that's a gym. Feed the posture. I'm gonna
feed the posture, man. Yeah. So I guess last question. So with all this said, and where you're at in your career, I mean, we talked about it privately. So, you know, from accomplishing everything you accomplish, what do you think is like next for you?
I'm just trying to stay buck, honestly. Like, and there's one thing when I know, like, if I'm dancing to my own fulfillment, you know, like, I know I can always be better. I know I'm always going to get better as long as I'm out here learning and keeping my ears open. But there's got to be a point nowadays that I feel like every time I dance, I got to make sure, like, it feels good. Like, I feel good about what I just did out there, you know. And there's been some spurts recently, like the battle I had with Brandon. I felt good through that whole battle. Like, I felt good. But then dance that day when I wasn't really feeling it. But I got to get back to that point where I feel it, every time I step out there. Rookies tournament in Oxnard's coming up in November. So I guess those are new goals I've got set up for myself. I'm going to test out how.
Is that your first one hosting?
Yeah, first one hosting.
When's that?
November 22nd. Yeah. $300 cash prize.
Jeez.
So that one's going to be fun. Yeah, stuff like that. Do more, and just do more that way. Get into some more events, I guess, doing some tournaments, more workshops, more all that, and just stay, like I said, just keep it buck out here, man. Like, yeah, I mean, you guys know me. I don't get into the drama. I don't do the jibber jabber on the Facebook pages. We can battle in that and rock it that way, dog. Like, So other than that, I'm just staying in that BEASTcamp lane, baby, all day. BEASTcamp.com. Y'all know what time it is.
I mean, how is your life? I mean, you don't gotta get too personal, but I know your life. From then to now, because from our first interviews, how old was your son?
Oh my God, Elijah, I think was a couple months old. I think he was a couple months old. Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's 7 now. He's 7 now. Yeah, I had a newborn then. I'm raising 5 now. Got a full-blown career as an electrician. Yeah, still doing corpsecollection.com. Y'all know the drill. I think back then I was just corpse. Yeah, and I was on the mission of battling all the BEASTcamp members until I got in the camp. Matter of fact, I got packed out by like 5 members that night. Lived on the road for 2.5 years. Got to travel through Texas and meet the movement out there. Traveled through Florida, got to meet the movement out there. Got to go to Ohio. Shout out Ohio.
Yeah, they're crazy out there.
Shout out Ohio.
Crazy buck.
Bro, they are getting buck in the daylight on a bridge. What the fuck? Bro. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, I guess. Like, yeah, no, but good people. Donald showed me a good time while we were there, showed me a lot of hospitality.
So, what made you think to battle all the BEASTcamp members before you became a beast yourself? Because that wasn't our idea to put on you. That was your idea.
Yeah, that was.
What made you do that?
It just kind of felt like that was the next best way to get y'all's attention. That was the next best. And there was people who would come to and be like, oh, hey, would you be down to battle at the Tuesday late night? I already got somebody chalked out. Like, I have a mission right now. And I think kind of coming off the back of B&J Dread, battle Dread to leave the fam. Wild battle, right? End up battling again, I think it was like 2 weeks later or the next week, right? So we're going hard, and then it was like, okay, to kind of let this air out, how about I just battle all these guys until they let me in, right? Because they say, oh, in time, and this and that. Okay, cool, right? How about I just battle y'all while I wait, right? Like, we're all hanging out, right? Might as well get some battles in, right? Like,
That's funny.
I just felt like that was the buckest thing I could do next, right? And kind of introduce myself in that way to the fam too, because I know like a lot of us had battled beside each other or had battled before, but like I had never battled Hero, I had never battled Mike Beast, I had never battled Chino, I never battled Yanni, and Shutdown, Jess, right? So there was a lot of people, and I was like, whoa, like I've been around y'all a lot. And we homies, right? And y'all hyped me up at the session, but let's get in the ring now. So I thought that was like a little low key thing. Like, this is my best way to introduce myself.
Yeah.
What was your most memorable battle out of that series you went through?
Favorite was probably Yaya's. Worst beatdown I got was from Rev. That was insane.
I tell you what, bro, I've never laughed for anything more than that moment.
Bro, and I was chilling at the office, right? And I get a message from Rev. I was like, yeah, I'll be there, right? Like, sure, I'll be there. Like, it was,
That fool had already told me, he was like, yeah, Putch is coming for everybody. He's coming. And I was like, oh, bet. And so I remember me and you labbed at the AOV old studio.
scoundrels.
And just spent hours. I don't think I've ever just sat and created as much because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
because you had beat me before.
At the new gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
no, I can't let that happen again.
Yeah, that was, and bro, and it was like, and there was a moment too. I remember I looked at you and I was like, yo, this is a rap. Like, you know, like, this is a rap. Like, come on, dog. Like, I know, this is a rap. And it was like, no, you're in a dance again. And it's like, okay, cool. Like, I understood, like, I gotta fight through this right now. Like, this is not only just a battle. You say you want to be in the camp, fight through it, right? Like, because it was, I don't know how loud it was in that room when I went up, but it felt deafening silent, right? Like, I could hear my heartbeat in my chest, bro. Like, oh my God. And then, dude, the little homies were there. And I was like, I'm just so glad my son's not here. Like, I would have never looked at him the same. Really, you know, like, you witnessed your dad get his ass beat. I mean, and it's always a learning experience.
I'm glad that was one of your favorite moments.
Well,
I was even to that question.
I talk about that with the boys all the time too. Like, yo, there's going to be times you go to a battle and you're going to go half, you know, just kind of half baked. Like, you walk in, it's like, oh yeah, I'm down to battle. But homie is ready. Don't you fucking ever get caught slipping, bro. Because that was embarrassing. Like, that was like the most embarrassment. Like, how could I ever come? Like, because I still remember thinking, like, I was going to show up and kind of chill. I think I had battled Chino before that, or I had battled somebody just before that. And I was like, I'm a chill, pull up to the Tuesday, right? Might kind of scout it out. But, oh, Reb's jumpy. Okay, cool, I'll pull up. Like, no, I should have been a little more like, oh, fuck, I need to pull up. Like, you know, I should have weighted those options a little heavier. Yeah.
I needed
I didn't take that warning. I didn't see that warning. I did not see that one coming. Like, oh shit. So maybe a lesson to the rookies too, though. Maybe always be ready. Always be ready. Full
Always
clip.
be ready. And yeah, it's a different time because I remember Enforcer, he described Concrete's career like in a beautiful way. He was like, man, you know, like Concrete, like, he took L's, but he took L's behind closed doors when like no one was really paying attention. He was out of those closed doors, he was unbeatable. You know, and yeah, you gotta take them L's, man. Even though, you know, Mayweather is undefeated with the record, but you know, for him, I think not winning, he didn't win the Golden Gloves in the Olympics. I think he won bronze or something. So he took some L's too, but when it was time, when the limelight was there, and you take the L's that you need, you know, it's a different time because now everything is and it feels like it needs to be publicized, like your rounds or your sessions. But you know, speaking from someone who is in a career of dance and feel like I have to keep posting and whatnot, like you could be chill. Like personally for me, I don't know who's watching, but I told myself I'm not posting a full round on Instagram until I feel it in my soul. So, and I think that's gonna take a couple like weeks or months. So that's why y'all see me just post like more like content-y type of get off. But if I'm talking about like the get off, yeah, I'm taking a bunch of L's behind closed doors, you know. So yeah, I think that's Buck, man, and not just for our fam, but just fam in general. You know, like if you have someone interested, I don't know, I'm saying they're like, oh, you should battle all the fam members first, because that was the Buckest thing that I heard. Let him do it one-on-one, and it was like at the old Tuesdays. So that Inglewood, like, yeah, everyone, not everyone, but people were there.
a lot of people were there.
Oh man, and it's on YouTube. Most of them were on YouTube. But like I said, you know, it's not like at an event to where like thousands and thousands of views, you know, like it's one of those you gotta really search up. But yeah, it's behind closed doors, and you know, take your L's, pay your dues. You know what I mean? And yeah, I hate to say it, but I feel like we're kind of in this era of entitlement. So yeah, this is why we always have to study the past, and it's not even like the distant past too. Like I think Corpse is a good representation of like transitioning from rookie to who he is now, you know. And it's really dope that we tackled a lot of these things. So I guess my last question, hearing your life, just like what you said, you know, raising 5 full-time electrician, I mean, that's already a lot on your plate. So what keeps you motivated to not just KRUMP, but you're trying to still be like one of the buckets? And how? Why and when?
Like, I don't know, man. There's really something when, I mean, people have seen footage of my son. You guys have all been around him too, and there is really something, bro, when he's running around out here and talking to you guys, showing them, you know, moves, and he's out here dancing, and there's just really something behind that, and there's something behind. It's like, I not only want to be better for myself now, but also for them too, right? So it's like, because I know being around buck individuals makes me buck, right? Like that power of diffusion. So if he's going to get better, I need to be better too. He can't be out labbing me. So we're labbing, right? And I'm really trying to get better because he's really getting better. And so it's something that we've been able to bond over and share. And so that's definitely been a big motivator here recently. That is the why, the when, and the how, man. Because all the babies are really liking dancing. They really like it. So.
And you live the furthest from the Cali camp, but yeah, you live the furthest, and you're here.
Hey man, less excuses and more answers, you know. And even during the times when I couldn't come out here, I tried to make sure that I made the time for the guys at home, you know, and we get together and lab. If I'm not making time for them, then it's because I'm here, right? And so there was never a dull moment. And you know, I know a lot of people have different variations of what their lives might look like, right? But we're all given those same 24 hours. That's so true, you know. And you can spend 2 hours watching your favorite Netflix show, you know, and that's cool, unwind. But maybe take 30 minutes, bro, and just lab just a little bit, and I promise it'll work. It works. Just, you gotta want to do it, dude. You gotta want to do it.
I'm sold. That's a good way to end it.
BEASTcamp.com.
Great episode. Get in the lab. Stop making excuses.